badly, you will sit down while the other kids get onto the podium.
Yeah.
So I think the only, the link that I made there was like, you have to work hard so that you get, something out of it.
As promised, here is another exceptional Namibian human on our Royal Hustler. Stephanie de Klerk is a highly accomplished professional with a diverse career trajectory, ranging from practicing law to providing legal advisory services and finally transitioning into the role of a business development consultant in the financial sector. And with her exceptional skills and expertise, Stephanie has made a significant impact on the business landscape in Namibia. And she's looking all sorts of amazing this very chilly morning. You said the weather, what is that for you? We look good. In the minuses, we look even better.
Regardless, female. It's about taking it on. It's the weather will always do the weather.
The weather
you
will
must do you
that.
regardless. Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you here, Stephanie. You're just such an air of joy, actually. Yeah, you've brightened up my very chilly morning, so thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm chuffed to be here.
Yeah.
It's always so nice to come through to 99 FM. I mean, and you guys are energy buds yourself, so I don't know who's giving who what. But yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Let's get to know Stephanie a little bit. When Stephanie was growing up, with this ball of energy, were you a handful to your parents? Like, what was your childhood like?
I was actually quite shy as a child.
No.
You would not, and I was painfully shy.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, no doubt, I was born, to a single parent. She was supported by my grandparents, born in Swakopmund. But the thing is, I grew up in a house full of cousins. So when you have that and you're the youngest girl, they accidentally hurt you. You guys are playing, but when it comes to you, things just break and it's not, it's not nice all the time. Yeah. So as a child, I was painfully shy. And I think, I couldn't be a handful if I tried because my cousins were. So yeah, but I think going into primary school, my mom made because she saw this child. So oh my gosh, this child is too shy. So she put me into a sport, rhythmical gymnastics, which is what I think parents do. You see your child is a bit...
let's get you out of your shell quick and fast in a hurry.
Quickly. So you put them in a team sport. I did that. And I think there I learned... I don't know that it helped with, me not being shy.
Oh.
I think it just helped with me becoming more driven,
Okay.
Because if you don't practice hard, you don't get a medal.
I see.
That reward.
It was not the era of everybody's a winner, everybody gets a medal. No,
when we were coming up, if you do badly, you will sit down while the other kids get onto the podium.
Yeah.
So I think the only, the link that I made there was like, you have to work hard so that you get, something out of it. And so I think that's what that instilled in me. And it can become, some of us are quite, I'm quite an addictive person, so when I get onto something, I'm going to go with it until I finish it, you know. But yeah, so I think that has kind of been one of my things that I always check back with. Am I working hard and am I making an impact? And then, high school, you go to a school like Jan Moore. We know what Jan Moore meant, huh? Discipline. There's order here. So, when you come from a school like Wayside High, you get to Jan Moore, they're like, no. First of all, here we beat. So, I mean, and we appreciated it. We appreciated the corporal punishment because, some of us, you get out of the way. So at Jan Moore, you learn discipline, you learn to, have integrity because it's also a school that's very based on, Christian beliefs.
Yeah.
And I think one thing about that school that stood out for me is there was nothing like a stupid question in class.
Beautiful. So it gives you curiosity and just asking questions.
Exactly. Yeah. You have the confidence to ask.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there will be the couples that, that laugh in the background.
Of course.
But when the teacher spots them, it's like, you guys,
you're the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it really brought me, I think that school brought me out of my shell. That school took care of the shyness because my mom was also... If you don't, do gymnastics and you're going to play hockey for this school, you're also going to debate. You're also going to do oratory.
I see.
So, yeah, I was pushed into those, kind of speaking.
You were so well-rounded.
It's my mother,
I was just this kid doing arts. Never in sports or any just sit there and art thou these. But
no, my mom was very deliberate.
That is such a beautiful thing to have been exposed to so much. So when did you get that sense of self for you when you say, no, this is when I knew, okay, this is who I am becoming?
Well, I mean, except the fact that, these schools, like Jan Moore has these psychometrical tests that you have to go through, that tells you you're a dentist or a teacher.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go be a dentist.
Were you okay?
Yeah, and then I said, no, maybe not so much, because I do like talking, and I can't imagine that I would end up in someone's mouth at some point. So, but I think, it was really when I got to law school Well, let me say beforehand. I think before I went to law school, my mom has this friend. I mean, everybody knows him, Norman Chombe, right? And in life, I think I've always wanted to be heard and respected. And when I spoke, I wanted people to listen. And my first example of that was the pastor in our church, right, in Swakopmund. So when he spoke, I mean, obviously the congregation is going to be very quiet.
Yeah.
So I respected him. I was like, that is what I want to be. It's a pastor, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously my grandparents would paraphrase him every time that we're being a fool. You know, like, you not, you know. And then I get to high school and my mom, you know, kind of introduces me to Norman Chombe. And I stand there and I say, this is it. What does this man do? How long has he been doing it? And how can I follow his career? Come to find out, of course, he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Like, I'm like, okay.
This is me.
Now, what gets me there? Because when I have something in my mind, I'm like, what gets me there?
Yeah.
My mom is like, well, it's the speaking, it's the debating, it's, you know, developing your sense of systematic thinking. That is what gets you there. So obviously, you know me, I'm on it, I'm diving into it, I'm debating, we're taking Afrikaans schools, you know, Dr. Lemmer, we are just there. I'm debating English and Afrikaans at this point. Everybody can get it, you know. Everybody can get it at this point. So, you know, I'm really trying to develop my origin skill. And of course, long story short, I get to law school. And I think the law in itself is it's so multifaceted, especially when we were still studying. It. You know, you had anything from statutory interpretation to constitutional to jurisprudence. So you really had a plethora of options, you know, that you could go into. You didn't have to do, you know, either arts, you know, criminal law or commercial law.
Yeah.
So UNAM really opened up the scope for, I think, myself even more because I didn't have to specialize so early.
But you know what I'm curious about, especially with your personality, because I did basic law for in my bachelor's for journalism, and I found it to be so chunky and restrictive because I color outside the lines. But you have to know, I have to say it as is so that there's a full understanding of it. Of course, I can't just put flowers on Article 3, subsection B, point 1.8.
Yes,
you know. So with your personality, how did you manage? Because I was like, because you know what I told myself? It's just 2 years, Miguel, you're fine. It's just 2 years. Because like I said, I found it to be restrictive. But I see you have such a bubbly, color outside, curious mind. How did you manage to stay in it? What made you hang on to it for so long?
Well, I think it's, you know, when your parents look on and they expect you to finish something, you finish it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was like the you know, the subconscious responsibility and obligation. You started this. You said law. My grandparents came on board in terms of funding. So you're not messing this up. So
no, you finished it. Yeah, family responsibility.
But I think the second thing is, as restrictive, well, I wouldn't say it's restrictive. You see, the law has this funny thing that it does, is that we have rules, right? But then we have the exceptions to the rule.
Okay.
So how I would excite myself as a law student is to first study the exceptions.
I see.
What is it that you may not do? And then bring myself back to the rule. So you know what I'm saying? So now you're over there going, you know, in contract, you know, very well. You know, it must be, you know, there must be at idem. But that didn't interest me. My thing was, but what are the circumstances where there wasn't at idem? And then you have to read the cases that actually tell you about this. And there's crazy stuff going on because obviously as human beings, we always kind of, you know, the law governs our relations, right?
Of course.
But the reason why there's a need to govern relations is because human beings are at their very nature chaotic.
Hey, Wenda.
So the law brings you back to know this is what society expects.
Hello.
You understand?
We are here.
Exactly. You can be there, but be here for purposes of society. So yeah, I mean, and that's why I love.
No, that's fascinating. Now you see. Now you've made me want to go back and study law. Just by I'm the girl that will always be looking for the fine print. Now, no, I was told about the addendum. Where is it?
Exactly.
So how did we transition from law to business development?
So you know, you can't, except the fact that of course when I went to law school. You know, this profession, business development, was not an option. It wasn't there. We didn't know what it looked like. So, you know, it's not like exactly like I could have, you know, gone and had a psychometric test on, you're supposed to be a business developer. No. So it didn't quite happen like that. But I think for me, what happened is you, at some point in your career, you realize that you're making enough money. You're walking in the right circles. You're being respected. You know, I mean, I was part of the Namibian Women Lawyers Association. I was the deputy chair. So girl was going. You know, and people were looking up to women.
Girl was gone.
Exactly. But you ask yourself, yeah, man, where's my impact? Where's the thing that's going to literally switch me on as a human being? Not at womanhood level, not at law level.
Just as a human level.
As me, Stephanie de Klerk. What is it that I really want to do to leave a legacy? And strange enough, I didn't interview for this job. I was kind of approached because I had, that it happens, because I had, I wanted to work for Sanlam. I knew I wanted to work for a multinational. I wanted to work for somewhere where the footprint is continental.
I see it.
And then I went and interviewed for a position, and then, I was like, oh, okay, fine, they filled it. And then I got a call, and I was like, yes, because I am that complaining client. So you need...
Call the manager. Where's the manager?
Exactly.
Get the manager
So I had a good conversation with my current CEO. He put the vision to me, and I said, well, I can do this. Law is about, you get instructions, and you kind of have to find, if the facts don't make sense, defer to the law. If the law doesn't make sense, defer to the facts.
I see.
So I said I could do this, and I could really run with it. And because it was new, we kind of get to strategize about how we want this portfolio to look like.
Yeah.
How will we strategize? How will we bring new solutions? How will we innovate? And that gets me up in the morning.
I want to touch on the impact before I wrap up, because I can talk to you for hours clearly. What motivates you on a daily basis, and what kind of impact are you looking for as Stephanie of 2023 moving forward?
Right. So, for me, I know that I'm learning myself. And I like the way that I'm learning myself. I like the pace at which I'm learning myself.
I love that sentence.
So
I'm going to put that in my caption today on my Instagram. I like the pace that I'm learning myself.
So my thing is, perfection is a farce. So I always, my motto is be better, live better, love better. And as long as you're telling yourself that, you can be better, we're good, because you're not putting that extra pressure on yourself. So that's the first thing in terms of my motto. Impact, I tell you, female. So there's things that we say every day, and you don't know who's looking, right? So I know that when I speak, especially when I have a used audience, I'm very cognizant to put in the wisdoms that I have come to learn in my life, because I know people have very different experiences. But some things are the same, which is that we must learn. And when it's wrong, we must unlearn. And when you find that we've made a mistake, we must relearn. So my thing is to remain teachable. Remain teachable, because we're not always going to be right.
Oh my goodness. Ma'am, at this stage of the game, must I really let you go, man? I don't want to do this. So let's wrap it up with some financial advice. Career advice that you would like to share with our listeners.
I think, first of all, in a world where you can be anything, we live in a world where, people get up and they make millions off ideas and things like that. I think first be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Know that there's going to be failure along the way. In fact, failure makes you stronger. And if there's no failure, you must actually be worried. If you're not failing at it, you must be worried, because then it might be too easy. So then you need to get out of that sand pit, right? Yeah. So that's the first thing. And then I think, we live in a space where there's this instant gratification.
Yes.
So I struggle even with my cousins. I'm like, guys, you know that you can't make $2 million in week 2. Or you have to go the path less traveled to get yourself there. So take time. Take the time and travel the road less traveled. Because it's only where you can kind of narrate your own story that you in the end can sell it to the second person and say, this is why you pay me royalties for that book.
Also, man.
Yes. You know what I mean? Because you've traveled the road less traveled. Don't be the 10 steps to glory person. Be the person that has gone, experienced it, and can look back and say, this is why I write this story.
My goodness. Thank you, Stephanie Mantochman. I don't know. Just in your diary, just can you show me in again? Ne? Somewhere, we'll talk about it off air, because we have so much to unpack. And I just, like I said, you have brought more than just a ray of sunshine into the studio this morning. You've brought inspiration, and we highly appreciate you for coming. And man, Sanlam is really lucky to have you. I said it out loud, and I said it with my chest. Sanlam is lucky to have you.
Thank you so much, eh?
Thank you for being here. And that was our royal hustler this morning. She says, don't be scared of failure. And if you're not failing, then maybe you're not doing something right. She talked about living better and loving better. And she said, remain teachable. Stephanie de Klerk, Sanlam's business development consultant and an absolute awesome human being.
Royal Hustlers was proudly brought to you by Namdeb Diamond Corporation.
Good today, better tomorrow.